Hey guys, it's the Cool Croc. Going to be taking a look at the new Legend Rayman that just got released into Brawlhalla along with the Xbox and Switch release for the game. Now, his stats, first off, look really great. He's got 5 force, 5 dexterity, 6 defense, and 6 movement speed. Now, I think we will see a lot of players rocking default Rayman. I think default is probably one of the best stances you can rock with him. I do also think that you might see some people rocking the defense stance on Rayman because it only takes away 1 movement speed, but default obviously is still really good. We might see some force Rayman as he does have a lot of defense still, even if you take away 1 defense to get that extra force. I don't think we'll see any dexterity Raymans unless there's something specific about him that he gets when you rock the dexterity stat that I don't know about, but other than that, I don't think people will rock it. Movement speed Rayman, we might see. I really doubt. Players don't like to go below 5 dexterity because of the detriment it gives to unarmed. Usually they don't like to go below 5, but we might, dexterity being one of the worst stats in the game. People sometimes can play really well with low dexterity, of course, and 4 is pretty low. Moving on, I think we're gonna go right into checking out Rayman. First up, we got Gauntlet Raymond Sig. This signature is very interesting. It's basically a worse cores end signature. It's got some frame data for you. It's got 16 startup frames, 6 active frames, and 25 end frames. So this signature, as a whole, I'd say it's pretty not that great. It's pretty fast, but it doesn't hit grounded like cores does, and it doesn't send them at as good of a favorable angle in most cases, unless you're gravity canceling it. So I'd say this signature is not that good. It's basically just a worse core end signature, and it's only got 6 active frames. So it's basically just, I don't see it being that good, but it's decently fast. Next up, we got Rayman's Gauntlet side signature, which I personally think is Rayman's worst Gauntlet signature. He does have some pretty bad signatures, though, on his gauntlets. This Gauntlet side signature is basically another one of a worse core side sig for gauntlets. Some frame data for you. Startup frames, 19 frames. Startup, not very good. 6 active frames, same as Ensig, and 25 end frames, same as Ensig. This signature does go a bit further if you charge it, but overall, I don't know why you would ever want to use this sig in favor of Core's Gauntlet side sig. It's basically a worse version. Next up, we got Rayman's Gauntlet down sig, and this signature is a little bit interesting. It seems to be somewhat decent, but it does stop all your momentum when you are dashing and moving, which is kind of bad, honestly. It should give you more momentum. I really want BMG to change this. It makes you too slow. You are able to control it, but some frame data for you on this bad boy is going to be Gauntlet down sig. Startup frames 24, kind of slow, honestly. Active frames 33, quite a lot of active frames, and end frames only 16. So this is those end frames being only 16. I'd say that this signature is probably the best Gauntlet signature on his kit, which is kind of sad because it can't be punished that easily. But yeah, overall, it's kind of sad. It's not that good. It stops your momentum. It does have a little bit of a weird angle. I can see people using it somewhat decently, but overall, I'd say it's pretty bad. Alright, moving on, we got Rayman's Axe signature kit, and this is where I think things get a little bit juicy and a little bit better overall. His Axe signature kit does outclass his Gauntlet signature kit by quite a lot. Now, the N-Sig starting up, we got 19 startup frames, 36 active frames, and 14 end frames. The signature is, I think it's surprisingly good. It might be his best sig on his kit. It hits at a surprising angle, and it has a hitbox that trails along with it across your character's body. It does reach at the very end. It has an extra swipe at the end of it, a burst of hitbox, And overall, I think this signature, it's frame data. I think it's pretty fast, and it covers a lot of distance very fast at a favorable angle. And it actually has only 14 end frames, which is not that bad. Next up, we got Rayman's Axe down signature. Now, this move is actually a little bit interesting frame data wise. It's overall really fast. It doesn't have a lot of active frames. Its startup frames are only 15, active 12, and end 14 frames. This move, I'd say it's really it's interesting to say the least. It keeps its momentum. If you have a momentum, a little bit better than the other down sig, and it also has an interesting property off stage, as you can use it to drop off stage a little bit. It acts differently in the air. I do think this could be a contender for one of Rayman's best signatures. It's overall having a quick signature like this with quite a bit of force. It can be really good, and I'd like to see how people mix it up into their play in the future. Alright guys, next up we got Rayman's side signature on his axe. Now this move is definitely a very fun move in my opinion. I think it can definitely work well in a lot of unique scenarios. It's got 20 startup frames, 17 active frames, and 20 end frames. This move is, it does carry a lot of speed, fast, like movement wise, and it can catch people by surprise. It also works interesting off the edge. It kind of has a lot of horizontal movement at the same as a diagonal, so it can definitely catch people by surprise, I think, edge guarding in edge guarding scenarios. And I definitely think that the move is definitely decent. So I think people will find ways to use it, even gravity canceled. It'll catch people by surprise due to how fast it is, and I think it's one of my favorite moves, but it's probably not the best move on the axe kit. But moving that aside, that's going to be the end of this video, and it will conclude the Rayman signature analysis. Overall, I think he's got some pretty underwhelming sigs, but his axe sigs are okay at best, for sure. Gauntlet sigs a little bit disappointed, hope they get buffed, but yeah, it's the Cool Croc, and I will see you guys in the next video.